Hi, welcome to banddirector.com. We want to welcome you to our 2008 clinic here at Arizona State University. Today we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of what we try to do here at the university to develop our program. We hope today we can help you out with your starting either your program, or if you guys already have established what you can do to make your program take it to that next level. My name is Gary Juarez. I'm the director of marching percussion here at Arizona State University, and I'm here along with my assistant, Mr. Joseph Goglia. So today we're going to be going over our basic fundamentals of what we try to establish here, so that during our audition process we can somewhat pick out on who has the basic fundamentals. So right now we're going to start with our standard 8 on the hand, which we will use a metronome, and the reason why we're using that is 1, so we can all pretty much drum together, and 2, they can understand what clarity can be in tempo. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 reps of this, guys, of 8 on a hand and stop. Okay, so we actually just did 2 reps of that for one reason. Number one, we want to have something that's going to be pretty consistent on when we're doing our reps. We don't want to have people in front cutting them off saying this is going to be the last time. What we're trying to develop here is something that they're going to be consistent 24/7, from whether it's a triplet diddle exercise, whether it's an accent tap. But with we have different variations when it comes to 8 on a hand, and what I'm talking about that is, we're gonna shoot over here to the quads, and I'm gonna let Mr. Joseph Goglia talk a little bit about why we have movement on an 8 on a hand to get them warmed up. Here we go.
All right. One of the things we do with the tenors is we talk a lot about technique as far as playing on our drum number 2 or drum number 1. And we talk about palms down, and we use that same basic technique that we teach all across the board. And then when we move around, we try and emulate that as much as possible and as smooth as possible. So let's listen to the tenors play our round for 8 on a hand. As you can see, it's not a straight 4 across pattern. There's an extra note here, so it messes with the phrasing a little bit and goes through the bar lines. So it's not only for the motion, for the hands, it also gets the mind warmed up as well. And it's just a nice way to break the mundaneness of going up and down the drums and playing some other patterns that are exactly what the snares are playing.
So we're gonna do another rep of this, and one of the most common questions that we always get asked is, why do we start with 8 on a hand? Number 1 is obviously to warm up the hands. Number 2, developing their listening skills right off the bat. Like here in Arizona, with it being 110 degrees as it is outside today, in the morning is when we usually have our rehearsals, starting at about 6 a.m. For our high school programs. So, 1, we want to make sure that we're warming up their brain. Getting kids up 5:30 in the morning, coming straight to band rehearsal, it can be pretty difficult at times. So we're going to do another 2 reps of this, and I'm going to explain a little bit more on different height variations that we can do along with this as well. So here we go. 2 times. Full height. So that was our version of 8 on hand at a 3-inch height level. What that's going to develop is obviously a little bit control at the lower heights. If you have for example, just a piano mezzo forte section in your show and you want to start developing their playing abilities at that height, this is a great exercise so they can start learning how to control everything at a lower height. What we're gonna do this one more time a little bit faster. And this is going to be at a regular height, full extension, 2 times. And relax, please. So this is actually our 4th day drumming together here for ASU. We started our band camp on Monday. So as you can see right now, there's a lot of discrepancies between our heights as well as just different styles of technique. The good thing about what we're trying to do here today is to show you guys obviously all the different discrepancies that we have and how we're going to try to establish to get them all on the same page. So our next exercise, what we're going to play is a basic accent tap exercise, one to control from the inner taps up to the accents. So let's go ahead and take our accent tap exercise. We're going to do this twice through at the same tempo, please. Actually, let's slow it down a little bit. First half only with our feet. In this exercise, we will be getting our feet moving to this. So listening to this exercise, it's a very basic exercise, and the reason for that is currently we have about 75 kids that audition for our ASU Drumline. So when you have that great amount of kids coming in, it's really hard to have them all play one exercise right off the bat. That is going to be at a more difficult. So we like to start out fresh, start out nice and slow, and go get down to the basic rudiments. So this way we can start developing from there, try to get everybody on the same page. The one thing about a university level drumline is that the difficult part about it is, number one, is trying to get everybody on the same page right off the bat. Everybody comes from a different background, whether they're coming, in Arizona you have very small towns, especially up in the north, where kids, they can be the only drummer at their school. When they come here, they're obviously in a different type of environment, got to get used to a full ensemble environment. And as you can see here, we have our metronome just pointing at the center snare. And the reason why for that is we want to start establishing them so they can understand what their listening environment is going to be. And obviously being on a field, we can't use a metronome, so we want to get the center snare as confident and consistent as possible. And then on the outside of the center snare, they're going to start using their ears a little bit more into our center snare, so they can start playing together a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead, and this is another variation of our accent tap exercise, which is a little bit split. It's an extension from what we just played, and this is kind of just to mess with their brains a little bit. and kind of get them listening into their own sections. So let's go ahead and play this one time through. And relax, please. So that exercise, it's written in 4 groupings. We basically have our simple 8th note accent on the downbeat, going into a 2/3 accent, back into a regular 8th note on the upbeat, into our 2/3 with the accent on the upbeat. And then on the split version, it's the same concept. We just kind of mix it around a little bit, and it, you know, so you have the groupings of 4, and you can place those however you want to put them. Whether it's, you want the quads to just do the same exercise twice in a row, maybe split up the snares and have them do 2-3-4-1, and the bass drums do a 3-4-1-2. There's many different variations you can do, and that was just one of our versions that we do here. I also had them marking time to this exercise, one that's going to develop a little bit better timing for them when they play. If you're starting to write any type of odd meter, especially like over the 2/3, so they can understand how that's going to relate to their feet. And so now we're going to move on to our double beat exercise. I know we're running out a little bit of time here, so we're going to go to our double beat. It's written in a triplet partial. And what I mean by that is everything's in triplet, and we're gonna remove a partial out of every single triplet, every single bar. So, for example, the first bar is written on 1 and 2. We take out the third partial. Second bar, we take out the the first partial. And you can hear on in the variations, it kind of every other bar we're just taking out different partials. So, here we go. Let's go ahead and play triplet partials, please. Place twice, feet apart. I'm going to have Mr. Joseph Goglia talk a little bit about this exercise.
One of the things we look for with this exercise especially is looking for the rebound that the drums actually create. And basically we look at it like a normal 16 or 8 on a hand stroke, where the 6 just rebounds naturally, uses a natural rebound of the drum. You send it down, it comes back and does a lot of the work for you, trying to make it as efficient as possible for all of our students in the group. So when we do the doubles, it's sort of kind of like a quick legato stroke, where the first one is completely initiated by the wrist. The second one is initiated a little more by rebound and follow through with the wrist and a little bit of fingers. But in that space of the third partial where we have the 1, 2, 3 before we play again, we look for the stick to rebound up naturally as if you were just playing legato 8 on a hand. and that helps with a nice full sound, helps with consistent sound, and it helps keeps the members in the group very, very relaxed while playing. And that's one of the things we really try and look for and strive to create. I'm going to have Gary talk about the next exercise.
So we're going to go back up, and we're going to go back to our triplet partials, and let's go at a faster tempo. Here we go. And relax. All right. Well, this shows you how hot it could get here in Arizona. Make sure that you're keeping your kids keeping them hydrated. Our next exercise we're going to play is our triplet accent exercise. This is all written in triplet timing, and what we're trying to do here is going back to our basics again. We added our just moving the accent, going from the first for the downbeat, then to the second partial, and to the third partial. Then what we add towards the end is we started to add diddles, just putting a long roll going from a triplet check pattern into our triplet roll. So let's go ahead and run this twice. And we're going to slow the tempo down. And we are going to keep our feet going to this. So if you can hear as well as I can hear, the first thing is that one, we're having clarity issues. With it being so early in the season, a lot of the students here are still kind of unfamiliar on what exactly to listen for. So we're going to break this down a little bit, and I'm going to add another exercise to help you develop your triplet roll patterns. So let's go ahead and take just our regular triplet diddle exercise, right hand, left hand, twice through with the long roll at the end like we've been doing, and let's do that one time, please. So on that exercise, you can hear that we started out with just a check pattern of triplets, and then all the right hand diddles, and then we go to another check pattern of triplets, going into nothing but our left hand diddles, another grouping of check pattern of triplets into the long roll. And you can break this down even with 16th notes, and then just take it at a really, really slow tempo, so this way the kids can have an understanding on what their hand is doing to produce that double sound coming out. Okay, so let's go back to our regular exercise. Hopefully this fixed some of our problems with our diddle clarity, and we're going to take it up a little bit in tempo. Here we go. Twice through with accent exercise. Get down. Penn Island. And cut. So I'm cutting for a couple reasons. Number one, the attack was really bad, but also the body of triplets, not listening to what's happening there with that metronome. So when you have that metronome on, one, obviously the center snare should be keeping that tempo in his head and start thinking about the exercise, but as well as the rest of the battery, okay, what their responsibility is. Thinking about that check so they're not slow. And relax, please. So I'm gonna have the snare line play this just by themselves, so hopefully you can get a better understanding, clarity-wise. Obviously in here it's probably a little bit boomy, so let's go ahead and have the snares by themselves. Let's play this twice through. And cut. First attack, second note of the triplet. Let's not rush that triplet roll at the end. Keep the hands at the same time. And relax. So going back to this exercise on why we do this, as you can hear, once we have that check pattern of just a check pattern of triplets into the accents, that's going to help you develop so the kids can pretty much play any type of accent pattern on the field for their show, whether it's a cadence or if it's a something part of your field show. They're going to have an understanding relation to their feet, to their hands. What we're going to do here, we're going to play this 2 more times at a little bit faster tempo. And I'm going to have them play it with no feet, and you're going to hear how somehow the clarity tends to clean up a little bit. Do it twice through, no feet. Twice through, no feet. Everybody. And relax. Okay, well that's going to conclude our exercise program for our 2008. We hope we've helped you with some of your questions. If you do have any further questions, you can email me at any time. It's at garyjuarez@gmail.com. Be more than happy to help you out with your program. Also, we'd like to thank Mapex, Promark, Remo, Zildjian for all their support. And we hope to see one of your students in the future here at Arizona State University. Thank you.